Welcome to the family with
Alex Brant Bernard Rasmussen.
Hackmaster Ralph W. Basham, MD.
Andy Brandt Bernard.
And co-host Catherine Brandt.
There you go. How come we can't see Ralphie boy?
I'm in the dark.
He's working on
Ralphie
it.
boy. He's working on it.
Working on it.
Sitting
the dark.
Oh,
alone.
that's the special Hubbard one that requires a dumb password and crap. I'll fix it.
Dumb
Oh,
password
dumb
and crap. Such a prince.
Yeah, there you go.
So
He's
eloquent.
thinking here right now. So what's new, Alex?
What is new? I don't know.
Nothing.
There you go.
Dan got a new job.
Ah,
Yeah. Oh, you want to talk about that on the air?
He got a new job.
You're not going to say what it is?
he's been looking forever.
Well, he was looking at only remote work for a long time, and he was being picky because he wasn't like, I got to get out of this job.
Right.
He just had been there for 6 years, and there wasn't any,
Where
like,
to go up?
there wasn't anywhere to go up in his job. And so he was like, just started looking a while ago. And then he was like, I'll do hybrid work because I actually miss being in the office a little bit and like with people that I work. And he's like, and if I started a new job, it would be weird to be fully remote and like never actually be with the people that I
Right.
work with, you know?
Right.
So he got a hybrid job and he'll be in office.
I guess it's a
Tuesday,
big
Wednesday,
problem.
Thursday.
A lot of companies really want people to come into
Could you
the
pull that mic
office.
a little closer to you?
They want people to come into the office, but people don't want to come into the office
you go.
anymore.
Yeah.
And they're starting to talk about paying premiums for people that will come into the office.
Premiums.
Yep. Make
So they're
more
going to
money
bribe
if you
people to
show
come
up.
into the office?
I don't understand why they can't just say this job requires you to come
Well,
in the
that's-
office. See you
that's-
later.
All the jobs that he was looking for that were hybrid, it was like, that's the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right. I have a question for Ralph as a doctor. He might understand this.
Yes.
That like 37 years ago, I was asked to work remotely. Do you think that was a negative thing?
Yeah. I think that was a negative thing. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Don't let him in here. He's too crabby all the time.
That's
Pretty
that what it
impressive
was?
that you even could do that back then, though. It wasn't
I
the
know.
cheap way to do it, that's for sure.
Well, I will tell you what, when Alex was 9 and you were 11 years old, I did the show from the closet
yeah,
when we were on vacation. I was in a closet during
Hey,
Check
we
out
had
the
you.
mud
it was.
room.
I would say it was a mud room.
It was the mud
It was a
room.
mud room.
Come on, you're going to trigger people in the closet. I was in the closet.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, we took our little entryway. Actually, it was the laundry room.
Oh, it was a laundry room / mud
yeah, 'cause
room.
Yeah, we moved we moved the washer and dryer out to the garage so you could have a little space.
There you
Yep.
go.
Yeah.
And in that house, I never did build. Did I build a studio in that? I don't think so.
No,
As we moved to the other house, that's
That
when I had
house?
a
No.
studio.
no, it's just the mud room, and then the other one there was a spare bedroom that you
Yep.
used for a studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that at first we were only down there for about a week at a time anyway, so it was not that big a deal. But
That's true.
it's all true. So, Ralph, what is new in your life, pal?
Not much. Haven't been able to see the new movie, see the new Dune movie. Just haven't had time. I
Or,
moved-
or motivation.
No,
Or
mo-
interest.
or motivation. It's true. It's a very odd thing. I remember that I saw the first one and I was not impressed with it. And then I'm thinking, I don't remember the first one. I don't even
don't either.
remember
Nope.
anything about it. I just remember that the main character is sort of a milquetoast puke. You know,
Well,
Oh, well.
Lovely.
so no, I haven't done that. Nothing else going on. And I moved out of my office. I did move out of my office in Wayzata. Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago.
You did?
Oh,
I moved
wow.
out, closed the doors, and that egg, and working a little bit over in Golden Valley, and then operating up in Maple Grove. So that was an effort. That loadout was a 4-day loadout. We had 2 pieces of sculpture, one weighing about 300 pounds, the other weighing
Whoa.
250. That had to be crated and hauled out of there. So Josh and I did that. Finished last, not this past Sunday, but a week ago Sunday. So,
surprised you didn't just leave them there.
oh no,
Bye.
these were worthwhile. These were worthwhile marble sculpted pieces, multimedia kind of stuff. So yeah, got
How
that
are you
out.
feeling about that?
Very good, exceptionally good.
Good.
No tears, couldn't even force tears when I was leaving. When I locked the doors for the last time, I couldn't even force tears. So thank God I'm out of
Really?
there. Yeah, that's a great
These-
transition.
You spent a lot of. How many years were you in that location?
And we were there 26.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a
Jeez.
while.
In that like location for 26 years. Yeah, so that was a great thing to see, and I'm out of there. Color
look
me
at you.
gone. Or in France, je te laisse.
Yeah. Look
French.
at you. Jude's on the chair behind you.
Oh, yeah, he's on the chair behind. He's on
There,
the
People
show.
want to see Jude. There he is.
Jude's on the show.
Licking the armrest.
Licking the
as usual.
armrest because he's a weirdo.
He
Yes.
loves to lick leather. I don't know what that is all about.
He's dreaming of bringing down big game,
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Honestly, yeah.
sharing it with his
Possible.
pack.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly true. So, anything new in the news we should know about?
The news. I haven't
Charlie
looked at the
wants
news.
to know if you have watched the Octopus Murders yet.
I have not, but I am going to. Absolutely. I heard the Octopus Murders is really good.
Oh, we forgot to talk about what is it? Larry Stanicki, Ricky Stanicki.
Ricky Stanicki. Yeah,
We
just
watched
talking about
that show.
What's
Yep.
that?
It's a really stupid comedy, which was actually pretty funny. It was so dumb, but
Oh,
it
by
did
the
make
way-
you laugh.
By the way, I'd like to point out now that Jude is in 2 pictures, not just one.
Oh yeah.
He reassigned his position.
Oh, attention hog. Photo bombing everybody.
Photo bombing. But yeah,
yeah.
Ricky Stanicki was really good. I thought it was really
So
good.
the guy that played Ricky Stanicki, what's his name?
Zac
Shoot
Efron.
it, stop
Zach,
it.
no, not
Wait,
Jack. Zach,
Ricky is John Cena.
John Cena.
I guess
there
he came out in the Oscars with just a giant envelope over his
That's what I
schwanzy.
heard.
And
Oh.
yeah.
That's what
Classy.
I heard.
Why?
Well, that's kind of like the theme of the movie.
Right.
It is not a great work of art, but it's
No.
it will make you laugh. I mean, it's
There's a lot
so
of those
dumb.
out there.
But they're also looking for stunts to try to
Oh,
have
yeah.
somebody watch
Sure.
the simple
Yeah.
thing.
Did
mean, this is-
anybody watch it this year?
None of us did.
No. No, their numbers were way down on the
Were they?
Oscars. Well, you can look them up, Andy.
Let's see.
Lindsay.
This says it was up 4% from last
Wow.
year.
From what? From 4 to 5?
They are at 19.5 million.
Yeah, see, it used to pull back in the day like 50 million viewers.
I didn't want to watch it because I knew the anti-Semitism would be rife, and it was.
It wasn't really a lot of anti-Semitism I heard at the Oscars.
Yep.
You guys know about that?
Wow, 19.5 million is, not good by
Not at all.
historical standards.
I mean, it's still a ton of people.
It is,
I mean,
but just as
really?
recently as 2014, they were at 45 million.
Wait a
So-
second. Wait a second. That industry is kind of, I wouldn't say controlled, but it influenced heavily by the
absolutely.
large number of Jewish people
Absolutely.
who really are kind of run a large part of the business.
Yes, they are.
How in the world could that be anti-Semitic? This, it's one thing to be, it's one thing to say, oh, we shouldn't be having these wars. It's one thing to say we should be peace. We should try to find peace all over the world, but to be anti-Semitic, that is a big deal.
Well, I mean, you can be anti-Israel without hating all Jews too.
Well, they shouldn't be anti-Israel either, because that's anti-Semitic.
don't care
That's it's
about-
synonymous, and for many people.
I don't really care about the conflict either way, but I don't know. Like, I don't like the pro-Palestine protesters, but I also don't see them as like, these Jew killing demons that a lot of people do.
Yeah, well, they're just protesting in America.
Well, they're just dumb, is all.
I think the problem we have is that celebrities, much like politicians, they go with the wind.
Yeah, exactly, and that's
The big
the
wind
trend.
is where they run off to. As soon
Yep.
as there's another big wind, they run off there, and that's what they do.
Well,
Fighting the hand that feeds because they're too stupid to do anything else.
Exactly.
but I don't understand how you go from a position of we need to treat all people the same. Everybody's got to be the same. People of color have to be the same as white people. It all has to be the same. Oh, except for Jews.
They never had that
Like-
position. They
No,
said
they
they did,
never.
but they
did.
never did.
You're absolutely. That was never true.
If they believed in equality, they wouldn't be making $800 million a year and living at the top of ivory towers clad in jewels.
Right.
Ooh, clad in jewels on top of it.
hmm
Well, what
Ivory
the
and
hell?
jewels.
I just, like I said, I've known Jews my whole life. I grew up around Jews in North Minneapolis. I have many Jewish friends, and I don't give a rat's ass if you like them or not. I do. Right?
I agreed. I grew up around no Jews, absolutely no Jews, in a huge anti-Semitic family. And then when I met,
Whoops.
what's true? in Western Pennsylvania, and I was in a sterile community. There were no black people around. There were nobody, and it was very homogenous. And I got to college, and I met my first Jews, and I go, these people aren't so bad.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, they got some good ideas. Hey, one of the real good ideas are cash businesses, like like the canteen. I say, wait a second, I think there's a lot of good thought going into some of this sort of stuff. So I didn't see the logic in the anti-Semitism I grew up with.
No, my BFF in 7th grade was Joyce Ellison, who's still
Joyce. We love
still
Joyce.
my great friend to this day, and she invited me to her bar mitzvah.
Bat
mitzvah.
Bat mitzvah
Bat
for
mitzvah.
females. That's
Bod
right.
is female, bod
Bat's
is
female.
female.
Sorry, Joyce, I should know. And my mother told me that I couldn't go to the temple
What?
for the ceremony, but I could
Not
go to the
Catholic?
party at their house afterwards.
She didn't want you in the temple?
And I said, why? Because my parents never said a word against anybody.
Right.
They really never
Right.
did. I know that they had their opinions, which I found out later in life, but as a child, they never said, don't talk to those people. You know, we believe this. It's like, yeah, nobody, if they were a different political party, they never said a word, which was great. And I am very grateful to this day for that. But that was the first time. And I remember talking to Joyce's mother, and I said, well, my mom won't let me go to the temple. And she said, why, honey? And I said, I think it's some weird religious thing. And she went, and she said, oh, and just left it at that.
There
She didn't
you
get
go.
mad. She didn't say your mom's, la 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 la. It's just back in those days, people really wanted to protect their
Yeah.
religion
Yeah, they
and
did.
protect themselves from other influences. And I don't think that was the worst thing she could have done in the world, but it was the first time I was like, oh, okay, so we aren't as open to other people as I thought. And I was surprised by it.
But some of the best services I've ever been to have been in the temple.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, truly. I mean, Lindsay will say to this day that one of the best, or not the best, but the most enriching things that I've been to has been a funeral that was held at the temple. I mean, I don't get that. It's Old Testament stuff, same stuff. It is
Yeah.
same stuff.
I don't really understand something here that I don't care what your skin color is, your faith is, your whatever, blah, 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 orientation, all the rest of it. Everybody who has a deep opinion about that kind of stuff thinks we all grew up the same way and had the same problems, that it could not be further from the truth. I was just talking to Alex Panovich, who's 6'5", weighs about 280, and it's all muscle. And he speaks out very, very upfront about mental illness because he does not have it, but he grew up around it. We
Silent,
didn't.
what was it?
What was that?
The silent, what was it?
Oh God, here I can grab it. Andy, I got it right over here. The Silent Dad, is that what it was?
Silent, yeah, that's probably what it is.
Here, I
It
got
is
right here.
silent service.
The Silent Service is out now as mission to further the conversation about mental health. We talked about it because my father was mentally ill. He was institutionalized. And I wish people, it's not just about orientation. It's not just about male or female. It's not just about skin color. We didn't all grow up the same. We are not the same people. Right?
Correct. Absolutely. We did not.
Jesus.
No one grew up the same.
You can't judge people based on their skin color or orientation. How did they grow up? I mean, it does affect your life. Sorry.
Yep.
I was talking to Catherine about that a couple of days ago, that there are people that think that I have this really kind of scary edge to me, which I don't even know that I have, but I needed it growing up where I grew up without a father around or an older brother around or whatever. I don't even know that I have that, but I didn't grow up like you, so that's why I have it, right?
Yep. That's right.
So calm down, everybody. Relax.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
That's right.
What do you think, Alex? What are you doing?
My camera's tilted, and it's because of the
It's fine.
ring light,
I know.
heavy
The
ring
ring
light that I
light.
don't
There we
even
go.
use.
You could take it off, honestly.
I'm gonna do that.
Ring light. What are you
It makes
doing?
everything bright. I'm taking.
Ring light is gone.
Oh, that. Oh, you're still
it
lit up
doesn't
like a
matter.
Christmas tree.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah, it's unnecessary.
You are good. Do you think we're
Mom's
getting
not
better with
very
all that stuff? I mean, I'm talking to Andy and Alex here. Do you think we've gotten a lot better with that stuff? Do we judge people just as much as we always have?
I think millennials are like first ones that kind of stopped caring so much about
Yeah.
other people's business, and Gen Zs really don't care
No, they don't care at all,
about anybody's business at all.
or at least a lot of them don't.
Yeah, a lot of them
But
don't.
there's always exceptions to every rule. But
Yeah,
yeah, definitely Gen X, or I mean, like Gen X was like the first apathetic generation,
yeah,
and then millennials became like more. They're less apathetic, but they're more like, we have to accept everyone.
hmm
But they also kind of went a little too far, and
yeah,
they're like aggressively accepting to the point
Yes.
of shunning others.
yeah. Like the pendulum kind of swung one way, and I feel like Gen Z is more like, you do what you're gonna do, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we're gonna do. I
Well, I
don't
have a
know.
question for you, and I don't mean to be talking out of the line here, and I'm not condemning anyone, but schools do not care about teaching things anymore. A lot of people in Gen Z, from what I understand, are really not very good readers. They were really not taught how to read. Is that
Bad
true?
math, bad
Excuse me.
reading.
I work at a school and we teach the kids plenty.
They're Gen Alpha, though. They're not Gen Z.
I know.
And you're
But-
also at a private school, not a public
Oh,
school.
there
That's
you go.
another. That's a
There
big
you
part of
go.
it. Yes.
Well, yeah, but I
Huge
mean,
difference.
it depends. You don't just like blanket statement things.
I'm not
There are a lot of
blanket
public
statement
school,
anything.
there are a lot of public schools that are wonderful.
There are.
I've heard nothing but fantastic things about the public schools in our area where we live.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, me
That's
too.
good.
Honestly,
yeah, we
but
just decided to put our kids in a private school because we were like, Fawn wouldn't do well in a giant school.
No.
No.
True.
When
No.
she would not like that at all. Like Sage could go anywhere and he'd be thrilled and delighted and get along with everyone. But Fawn would just be so overwhelmed. Like, so we were
Yeah.
like, let's just find a smaller school.
oh God, I thought Rogers Elementary was a big school until I was like in the 11th grade.
I mean,
Yeah.
it takes my sister-in-law to do car line for pickup,
Oh,
or my
God.
brother-in-law is the one that picks them up.
Ugh.
He has to get there like 30 minutes before school even closes, and then it can take
Mhm.
up to 40
Ugh.
minutes to like get the kid.
No.
He parks. Actually, what he does is he parks in a neighborhood 2 blocks away,
Really?
picks them up on foot, and then they walk to their car because it takes
That's what
I would
less
do.
time.
Yeah.
Good move. Yeah.
They need a cell phone a lot.
Because
like the
there's,
airport.
I know, because
Yeah.
there's so many. There's like 4 second grade classes.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot
Too
of
much.
people.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's a lot of people. Which it's like, yeah, it's great, and they love their school, and the kids are doing great, and they think it's fantastic, and they have a toddler that they're like, we'll for sure send her there, but it's just a huge school, and her kids are doing fine in a huge school. But I'm like, Fawn would not have. She would have been really overwhelmed. So
God, you just gave me some great memories of my own grade school days at St. Joe's and St. Anne's. It was wonderful. No question. I'm sitting once at lunch, and I had some kind of sandwich. I got a sandwich for lunch and whatever. And I still do this, and I do not know where I learned it or why I do it, but I picked up my sandwich to eat, and a friend of mine sitting across the table goes, "Do you realize you just took 7 consecutive bites out of that sandwich?" Because I went like, "Tuck, tuck, 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 tuck."
I think you learned that from
Corn on the cob.
Scooby Doo.
Maybe it was Scooby Doo that taught me that.
Oh,
But yeah,
Shaggy eats sandwiches.
he was shocked that I would take, and I didn't even know I did it. I just kind of went chip, 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 chip. You know, what the hell? It all works out in the end.
kids
right?
eat things weirdly.
Oh God, I ate
I-
things very weirdly forever.
I come to school at lunchtime so the teacher can have her lunch. So I'm
yeah,
I'm
sure.
in the at my kids' school they don't have a lunchroom, so they eat in their classrooms at their desks. And so I go in the classroom and I just walk around and I like chat with the kids and just whatever. And yeah, kids eat stuff real
Mhm.
weird.
I disassembled everything I ate for the longest
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I remember that.
Nutter butters, I would take them apart and like
Mhm.
eat the components, stuff like that.
Well, and it's like there's just certain foods that you just eat a certain way. Like Kit Kats, I still eat Kit Kats so strangely.
Yeah.
I chew the chocolate from around the edges off,
The
It's like
little
chunks
wafer.
of chocolate, and then I take each wafer and eat it, like separate them.
Yeah.
It's a
That's
lot
how
of
I
work.
ate Nutter butters or whatever.
Yeah, but it's so much better than eating like. And I'll every once in a while I'm like, just eat a Kit Kat, like just take a bite out of it. It's not as good. You got to
Really?
disassemble it because then it's like
All right.
chocolate and then it's wafery,
Mhm.
and it's better because then you get the two separate.
Not Nutter Butter. What are the rectangle ones? They're peanut butter, chocolate flavor,
The rectangle
and
ones,
they're rectangular.
Butterfinger
No.
rectangle. Is it a
They're
cookie?
basically
Is it a
peanut
candy
butter
bar?
Kit Kats, but huge.
Peanut butter Kit Kat. I don't
Peanut
know.
butter
I have
Kit
no
Kats,
idea.
but huge.
Yeah,
no idea.
Nutty Buddies or whatever they're
Oh
called.
yeah, I think it's Nutty Buddy. Is that right?
Well,
Nutty
That have,
Buddy.
like, yeah.
Yes, Nutty
Yeah.
Buddy.
There
I
you
love
said
those.
Nutter Butter, which is pretty close.
That's a cookie, right?
That's a cookie.
Yeah.
Yes, Nutty Buddy is what I
I
used
love
to buy
Nutty
those
Buddies.
so much.
I love Nutty Buddies.
Mhm.
Everybody used to have like zebra cakes and stuff, and I was like, "What is wrong with you?"
I ate so
Zeb-
many zebra cakes and they made me sick every
Oh,
time.
zebra cakes are repulsive.
Yeah.
only
I'd eat
one-
the zebra cakes and I'd be like, wow, I
Okay.
feel horrible.
The brownies. Remember?
I never really liked the brownies.
Those I like those because they were like super chewy.
Unless you're talking about the cosmic blasters or
No,
whatever.
and then those that had like the Rice Krispie
Yep.
kind of things in it, like cosmic. Yeah, they were like
Something like-
cosmic.
yeah.
Some no, because it was cosmic brownie. Brownie,
What?
right?
Cosmic brownie. Do you
Okay.
remember that?
No.
I don't either.
We are thinking of Star Crunch.
Star Crunch, and then cosmic brownie was the brownie.
Yeah,
that-
you're right. Cosmic
That
brownies.
company went out of business, didn't it?
Cosmic brownie. Little Debbie.
No, they're still around.
Oh, I thought they
They'll
all-
never go out of business.
Oh, yeah, kids
thought
still
they
bring
did.
like zebra cakes and stuff into lunch,
I
and
don't
I'm
know.
like,
I think there was a
Little Debbie.
threat. I think there was a threat that they were
Oh,
going
I think that was
They're
Hostess.
still-
Hostess was.
Yeah, I think
Oh, okay.
repurchase.
Yeah, 'cause-
They're very similar. They're basically the same thing.
what is it? Twinkie.
Hostess is Twinkie, yeah.
Gross.
Now that's the
I
stuff.
never liked a Twinkie, but I was like, out of all of those odd prepackaged desserts, I was like Star Crunch, Cosmic Brownie, and Nutty Buddies. Those are the three.
These days, if I ate one of them, I would feel bad for 3 days.
And you know, it's probably one of those things that you would eat. I feel like Star Crunch and Cosmic Brownie, if you ate it now, you'd be like, this isn't very good. I feel like a Nutter Butter would still
Nutter Butters are
would still be
yeah,
good.
definitely.
No, they aren't. No, they aren't. Because
No?
we revisited Nutter Butters in our house.
Nutty
and,
Buddy.
Nutty Buddy.
No, that well, you're calling them Nutty
No, it's a different thing.
Which one are
Nutter
we talking
Butters
about?
are a cookie.
Nutter Butter. We revisited Nutter Butters.
Okay.
Okay.
They weren't as good because
Nothing
I
is as
think
good.
your tastes
Yep.
mature in certain ways. So no,
Yeah.
they were not as good.
Listen, you know what I'm going to do if I can make it to like a Target or something by tomorrow? I'm going to buy this, and Andy and I are going to try them tomorrow. And
I like it.
we're going to review them. We want to, you don't have to eat the whole thing, Andy. Just a bite.
Just a bite.
I want to review these childhood desserts. I don't know what I'll do with the boxes when I'm done with
Yeah,
them
for real.
because
Give
My
them to your kids. Kim, serve your kids. Come on.
my kids
Don't be a sis. No, don't
Might
hold back
eat
from
them?
your kids.
They might eat them.
Well,
might not.
Well, if they don't, they
We'll
throw
see.
them. Then you throw them.
Dan will eat them. Dan eats anything. Dan will eat anything.
It's like Mikey.
Dan's like a human garbage can.
I used to be like
God
that.
bless him.
Can't anymore.
Yeah, nice.
He is. He's like the
Like-
least picky eater, and he'll just eat anything. And he has no problems with any food. And it's just like, here, eat this. He's like, okay, it's great.
That's how it should be. Now I got to ask you guys a question.
You ought to talk.
What?
It's true.
What? That's how it should be. You're one of the pickiest eaters I know.
Yeah.
But okay.
Absolutely.
Andy, you are. It's true.
Yes, I am.
Andy's not picky. He's allergic to
No,
everything, and everything reacts to
I'm
his
diseased.
body terribly. It's different.
Okay, we have like several different generations on the show. There's Ralph and me, and then there's your mom, and then there's Andy, and then there's Alex. I got to, and I don't want to get too deeply into this, but I'm at the point now, and I brought something up on the show this morning, and this is not about politics, it's about decency. So I'm not really talking politics, I'm talking about being decent. Let's start with you, Ralph. Do you think that anybody who's president of the United States should be allowed to spend our tax money to buy votes in an election year? I don't think you should be allowed to spend any money as president of the United States in an election year because all you're doing is buying votes with our money, correct?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem
I mean,
fair.
you shouldn't be able to create policies that favor certain groups of people who might vote for you.
Correct.
You know, and you know, all politicians probably shouldn't be able to do that. But then they would never
I
even work
agree.
done because they're always running for office. So
That is what they're always doing. But I just don't think you should be able to go out and spend trillions of dollars just so you get to be president for the second time.
I think that you should be allowed to do it, but it has to come under the stipulation that you step down to.
Well, there you go.
It's like, we'll give away $1 trillion to everyone, but I can never run for office ever again.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what we should be doing. And one other thing, and this is basically probably more for Mom, Andy, and Alex. I've been watching some national news lately, and I cannot believe some of the things that anchors are saying to their guests on their shows.
Yep.
The one that really brought it home and punched, it was like a gut punch for me. George Stephanopoulos, who I used to have to work with when he was on ABC, and ABC owned KQRS.
He was also
he
on
was
Friends.
Was he?
Wasn't that George Stephanopoulos, or was that another one?
No, George Stephanopoulos is a news anchor.
No, he wasn't on
He's
Friends.
not a news anchor. He's a
Yeah,
propagandist.
Friend was on George
Friend was on
Stephanopoulos.
George. Steph-
Whatever. Season 1, episode 4, the one with George Stephanopoulos.
Oh, we made a guest
Aha.
appearance.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
he
a
made
guest
oh,
appearance
Yeah.
thing.
told
Yeah,
you.
he's a White House direct communication
Right.
person.
Propagandist.
But
I don't know who this person is. I've never seen him in my life, even though
that
I've seen
doesn't make any difference. He's a terrible news anchor. I used to have to work with him. He's a major pain in the ass.
fun.
And I'm just bringing that because it was the final gut punch for me. I'm like, I cannot stand to watch the national news anymore. He had a young woman on the show. She's a state senator or a United States senator somewhere in the East Coast. I don't even remember.
Oh, yeah.
And she was on George's show live. She's on the set with him live. And he said, how can you support Donald Trump? He's a rapist, which he was never accused of being a rapist. Did anybody? They
Well, he was
talked about him.
accused, but he was never. It was never proven.
Well, not a rape though, being untoward.
No,
but
I think she accused him of rape, but they couldn't find any evidence of a rape. And then they switched it. In a criminal case, he wasn't convicted. So they decided to do a civil case. And then they
Okay.
said that it was sexual misconduct or something like that.
but that could be grabbing someone by the crotch, not rape.
Could be anything. Yes, it's not good.
Or
Still.
it could be anything. If you
Yes.
touch a woman or man's arm, that can be
Sexual assault,
construed as a sexual assault or sexual advance.
It's a very vague term.
Now, here's the big problem I had with it. He keeps pushing and pushing and pushing the fact that Donald Trump is a rapist, which there's never been any. And look, I'm not protecting Donald Trump here. I'm protecting the woman on the show. Because then, when she wouldn't go with that, he said, well, I just don't understand how you could possibly vote for him since you were raped as a young woman. He brings up on a national TV show that she had been raped.
Oh boy.
When are they going to stop with this?
Never.
These news anchors are the worst people on earth. They push and push and push, and if their point's not being taken, they will rat you out and push you under the bus. I was so disgusted by what he did there. I couldn't. But this young woman, and you could tell by the look in her eye, she either wanted to start crying or punch him right in the face. I mean, why are news anchors even allowed to say things like that? If she wanted to talk about it, she'd bring it up, don't you think?
There you go. That's exactly right. And that's
God.
you've learned, Tom. You're a great interviewer, and you've learned that. You know that people don't want to talk about certain things, but if you
No.
if you get them in a relaxed state of mind, and they realize that you are not going to be confrontational with regard to something you're sensitive about, they'll
Right.
spill their guts. And it's
They will, absolutely. You're absolutely right. There is no excuse for doing what he did. To reveal, look, did people know about it? I don't know if I didn't know that she had been raped. I had no
No.
idea she'd been
private.
raped. It's private. Yeah. Do you think we've gotten to the point now where the national news has got to be held, not in contempt necessarily, but held responsible for the things they say?
Too late. Never happened.
It's never going to happen, is it?
Right. Well, everybody wants to be a shock jock.
That too.
Yeah, that's true. That's very good.
But only the press has the Supreme Court's backing on being a shock jock.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Andy. So what do you think of my idea that you cannot spend the taxpayers' money in an election year? What do you think?
I think they never should be able to.
I don't think you should be able to anyway. It's true.
Yeah, but the point of that correct. I agree with you. But they're always running for office.
That's the thing. Yeah, they're running for office
Yes.
24 hours a day their entire lives.
And
when are they
they
not
do.
running for office?
And it's every 2 years for the House, and they're the ones that control the budget.
Well, and even if they're not, like, they'll hop from office to office too if they can. So, okay, I'm a congressman and I want to spend a bunch of money and buy votes, but I'm not allowed to because I can't buy votes for my seat in Congress. So I spend all this money and then I step down and then I go run for some other office and I'm beloved because I gave away all this money and I'm a shoo-in.
Yeah.
And I just do it again and again.
Well, look what Biden did. Gave more free tuition away to people. I mean, how is it your job to give free tuition to anybody?
Executive orders are one of the dumbest things about this country.
I agree.
It should all be a
100%.
referendum, every single
Yes.
thing.
Yep. Good call.
I think we should have a referendum on whether or not to let Tim Lammers on this.
I don't think we should. Let's try
How
to
about
keep
a
him off.
referendum on changing the subject from politics because it's already driving me crazy?
Well, it's not even politics. It's treating another human being with such
I
disrespect.
hear you. Well, and Ralph, thank you for bringing that up about interviewers that know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, read the room. Jesus. Anyway, I have to bring up right away, Tom, because I know you had Tommy, you had a personal encounter with this guy, Eric Carmen. You heard he passed away.
Yes.
Yeah.
He died yesterday, did he not?
In his sleep. They're not saying of what, but when you die in your sleep, I don't know. He's 74 though, and you know, again, you were talking about how he said, "Well, I'm just as pretty as my wife," or whatever. That's
I will tell the story because the way he delivered it, his wife is stunningly beautiful to this day, by the way. Really pretty woman. He was a very handsome man, there's no question. We're sitting at dinner at Charlie's Cafe Exceptional back in the day, which is no longer even there. It's a 28-story tower now. But Eric Carmen, who was with Raspberries first, had a ton of hits with them, and then he went solo and had a ton of hits himself, 2-3 huge numbers.
Hungry Eyes is the one I know.
Hungry Eyes.
all
Yep,
by
that's it.
myself.
All by myself.
Oh, yeah, that too.
So we're sitting at dinner at Charlie's Cafe. It's Eric, his wife. There was somebody else with us too, but I can't remember because of what he said. I will never forget this, Timmy. I'm glad you brought it up. We're sitting there having a great time, wonderful, and she looked kind of nervous to be sitting there. So I thought I'd throw her a little compliment, maybe it'd make her feel better about being in a group and all the rest of it. And I looked at Eric Carmen and I said, Eric, I don't want to be too forward here or the rest of it, but I have to tell you, your wife is stunningly beautiful. And she smiled. And Eric Carmen looked at me and said, and I quote, yeah, she looks just like me.
Oh.
And he wasn't kidding, by the way. He was
Weird
not
thing to
joking
say on
around.
a number of levels.
Well, you know,
Why do you want that?
Yeah.
it is an ego-driven business. Let's be honest. Entertainment
Yes.
is really actors,
Little bit.
musicians, and all that sort of stuff. But I
Yeah.
will say, I mean, the guy was an incredible songwriter.
He was, yes. Yep.
And I think we talked about this previously. His voice, to me, he was like the American Paul McCartney.
Yeah, I could
His
see that.
voice kind of had that tone, that intonation, whatever it was. And I absolutely loved his stuff with the Raspberries and his solo stuff. So it really is a shame. So, you know, I would imagine it's tough though, because you have those hits in the 70s and you have the solo hits. And I think really Hungry Eyes, that is a Dirty Dancing thing, right? And then he had another one. I forget what it was, but
All by myself.
all by myself. But there were
Yeah.
there were things into the 80s.
Yes.
And then
Yep.
kind of things go poof. And you're sitting there with all that immense talent and nobody, I mean, your time has passed. And I would imagine that's enormously difficult to handle, because I think I will even go so far as to what I know from him. He was a virtuoso. I mean, this guy really classically trained. I mean, he even used Rachmaninoff and All by Myself. I mean, this guy knew his stuff. And,
Yep.
you know, to have all that
Yep.
talent, it just must drive you crazy to know that you're no longer on top. So there is on YouTube, and I shared one video on my Facebook page of the Raspberries reunited in 2007,
Okay.
and they sounded great. I mean, they
Oh, yeah.
really did. And so they
Yep.
had their heyday once again for a brief time, and then it was kind of gone again. So yeah. I always wonder. I mean, I always wonder, first of all, what do one hit wonders do for the rest of their lives? They have
Yeah.
that number
Yep.
one hit, and then it's gone. And what do you do to move on? And then you have somebody with immense talent like Eric Carmen, who just has a time and then has a time again and again, and that's it. So it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. I mean,
To borrow a phrase from the Swans,
Oh
Truman,
yeah.
Truman Capote says, the worst thing in the world has happened to me. I've gone out of style.
And the finale is this week.
This
I cannot
week.
wait for the finale. So
Yep.
yeah, what a great series that's been.
Phenomenal.
And yeah, so yeah, I mean, despite his, she looks just like me,
She
things
looks
like
just
that.
like me.
You just kind of got to put them aside. I've heard worse, and
Oh yeah.
I got a couple
Andy-
dogs visiting me here. What do you
Andy,
guys
could you do us a favor and bring up a picture of Eric Carmen's wife? It doesn't matter what era; she looks the same in every picture I've seen of her.
The
Her name-
Amy Murphy.
Uh,
Oh no,
well,
that's his most recent wife.
Yeah,
Oh, he's not,
I was
he
gonna
wasn't
say
with his wife.
I think he was
Really?
married more than once. Yeah.
He's married 3 times. Yes,
I didn't know that.
Marcy
Unless
Hill, Susan Carmen, and Amy Murphy.
I don't know. Can you put all 3 of them up, and I'll tell you which one it was that I met.
jeez.
Put him in a lineup.
Put them in a lineup. Let's go.
Oh, well, here's
she has long
yeah.
blonde hair.
Yeah, here's a picture of him next to a woman who looks actually very much like him.
Oh, that must be her then. She was a very nice woman, very, very pretty woman, very nice. And she's kind of nervous about it, So she does have long blonde hair, Andy.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's her. She's a very nice woman, but she just was very uncomfortable being around maybe a record guy.
There you
Yeah.
They
go.
do look
Yeah.
alike. Oh my
They
God.
look a
do.
lot alike.
Oh my
Creepy.
god.
I am totally creeped
They
out.
do actually look quite a bit alike.
Isn't
And
he
actually,
I'm
like
that's
kissing myself in the mirror.
Yeah.
He
He's
married
not all
himself.
by himself.
No,
No.
he's not.
Well, I mean, I guess
Doppelganger.
in a way he is.
They look like twins. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
So
that wasn't
you
even
know,
a good picture of her, by the way. She was very, very pretty.
I
I mean,
think
she
she's
looked nice.
pretty.
Yeah, she was pretty, but she's stunning.
And that was Susan Carmen.
That
They
was
got
Susan Carmen.
divorced. They were married for 15 years and had 2 kids.
When were they
Wow.
married?
They were
Mid-80s.
married in
78.
Eric Carmen,
I'm
wife.
guessing.
Susan there 93 to
Telephone.
2009.
Nope, that wasn't the woman then.
Oh.
That wasn't the
Oh.
right.
So we found another one that looks like him?
oh my god.
They do look a lot
He
alike.
had a
no
type.
question.
He had a type.
Yeah,
This would have been
That's right.
Andy, the late 70s. Who was he married to in the late 70s?
Marcy Hill.
Do you have I think that is Marcy. I think it is Marcy. You're right. So his second wife looked just like him too.
Oh my god.
Now, if you have a picture of Marcy and you can put that up,
Oh, mercy.
that's hilarious. The guy married himself 3 different times.
There's not a lot of pictures of
Creepy.
her out there because she apparently never really was very public.
No, she was not a very public person, but there you can find a picture of her. I know. We had one on the morning show this morning. It was, I mean, she was pretty stunning. There's no question about that. But I mean, if you can't find it, you can't find it. She looks a lot like the woman you showed anyway.
Yeah.
She's even a bit prettier than. But that picture was kind of squashed a little bit.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that would have changed.
I
a
can't
couple
find
things.
any good pictures of. I don't think a picture has been taken of her in the past 40 years.
Yeah, she doesn't. She did not like to be in public. I know that.
No.
Mm.
No question.
Well, when her husband made comments like that, it had to have been a little embarrassing.
Yeah.
Well, he was right. You look at that picture. It's like apparently he was right. He married women who looked just like him.
Yeah.
Well, he
Why
was a
not- I
handsome
want to
guy.
marry somebody. When I look in the mirror, I'm seeing my wife, like me. I mean, yeah. What a weird kind of thing that is.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
very
I
strange.
can't see your wife growing a beard though. I just can't see it.
No. So, it might be a question that I already know the answer to. No, you didn't watch the Oscars,
No.
Nope.
but I will
No
say there was a bit with John Cena, and
I heard about it.
Right, I happened to watch. I happened to watch Ricky Stenicki the night before, and
Oh
this
God.
guy is
God.
he is a comedic talent.
He
This
I
really
agree.
is.
Yep.
Oh my God, is he funny? And he was so great. And imagine, I mean, basically, he was wearing a thong or some kind of deal that this flesh colored thing. So he wasn't
Oh.
completely naked, but
Mm-hmm.
you could have fooled me. I mean, just looking on TV, and he had this giant envelope covering the front part. And
The
just
front
that's
part.
that's a ballsy thing because imagine you're
Get
you're
it?
used
Get
to. I guess he's used to big crowds because of the wrestling. But what if a joke like that falls flat? I mean, you're really putting yourself
Wait.
on the line there.
What did, talk about the wrestling? What?
He was
Well,
a
I'm
wrestler.
saying he's used to being in front of big crowds, so he knows how to work.
Oh, he was a
crowd.
professional wrestler.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's what makes it even more spectacular. I mean, this guy has made such of a brilliant transition. I won't even say transition because I think he is still wrestling.
Is he?
Is he really? I
He's
didn't know.
got to
might
be like
be-
50, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, though, I mean,
What's that?
around the time the Suicide Squad came out, and if you haven't seen that movie, we actually watched that one again a couple days ago. He's really funny in that as well. When that came out, he actually came and surprised the crowd that was screening the movie in Minneapolis. He came from what do they call those big events, the wrestling events? What do they call them?
WrestleCon.
Conventions.
SummerSlam or something? Isn't there
Oh,
some
SummerSlam. Yep, there's
something
SummerSlam.
like that? He came from one of those wrestling events afterwards to surprise a crowd screening the Suicide Squad. So that was a couple years back. So I don't know if he still is. I would imagine, the studios, he's a hot commodity and they don't want him hurting himself doing the wrestling stuff. So I don't know if he still is or not. But he's really, really good as an actor. I can tell you, I think he's terrific.
No, I agree. He's very, very funny. He can be very intimidating. There's no question about that.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we actually watched that movie, and I'm just like after the 15th, penis joke. I'm like, okay, I'm tapping out. But it was it was funny. It was actually funny.
Macy and the hand motions.
Yeah, when they said he's double donging now.
Though, it's Farrelly brothers humor. Now Peter Farrelly directed this one, or is it Farrelly? One of the two.
Yeah, one of them.
It's that sort of humor, and some people like it, some people don't. But I love that stuff. The Dumb and Dumber, that kind of, something about Mary, that kind of humor, and it's really, really funny. And again, I just think it really showed his extraordinary talents as a comedic actor. Oh my God, he's funny.
John Cena has been part-time since 2018.
Wow.
And he's considering retiring soon. But I mean, he's in his late 40s. So
what's his wrestling name?
John Cena.
John
Oh,
Cena.
he's not like he doesn't
No.
have a persona. Oh,
No.
okay.
Yeah, no, he's not like the something.
Yeah, I mean, he rose to prominence just like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It just
Yes. Yep.
The
For a
Rock.
brief period, he was the prototype.
Oh, really?
Oh, well.
Mm-hmm.
Not
He
the
also
best
went
name.
by Juan Cena.
Oh, God. Okay.
Well, in the worst bit of acting, he was supposed to be Vin Diesel's brother in the Fast and Furious 9.
Yeah, they look a lot alike.
Oh.
Yeah, you're right.
Was that his movie Break? What was his break?
I think it came before that.
Was it before that?
Yeah, long before that. I think that really, well, The Rock was doing the Fast and Furious stuff too, and essentially, him and Diesel had that, or what is it? Martin Sinclair. What's Diesel's real name? Rick Sinclair.
Rick Sinclair, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that really helped his career. And then they had a fallout, but as it turns out, it was kind of like an all-star wrestling setup to get hyped the movie because he appeared at the end credits of the last picture. But yeah, essentially he took over for The Rock in that series, in the 9th film, and then he's in the 10th film. And spoiler, I don't think he'll be back for number 11. I won't tell you what happens. But he's been around for a while doing films.
Mm-hmm.
Does he become
he's-
so fast and furious that he breaks the speed of light and goes back in time?
I tell you what, though, I mean, if you see Peacemaker, I would suggesting the Suicide Squad first to get to know who Peacemaker is. And Tom, I know you don't like superhero movies. This is like an anti-hero movie, a super villain movie, and David Dastmalchian is in it as well. And that was a big film for him as the Polka Dot Man. And Margot Robbie is in it, and Idris Elba. It's a great movie. And then they did a spin-off series called Peacemaker, which showed again how talented John Cena is as a comedic actor. God,
Oh, by the way, his break, of course, was as Fred's dad in Fred the movie.
Oh,
I'm sure none of you have heard of. Alex might not have even. Do you know Fred?
Fred
The YouTube
movie.
guy.
No, I don't know what you're talking
He
about.
like sped his voice up like the Chickmunks. Hey, it's Fred. It was a
No.
I know who you're talking about, but I've never seen it.
on early YouTube. I'm sure
No,
your
I've
kids
never-
probably watched
I've never
it, Tim.
YouTube.
Yeah, no, it's
I don't know
one of the
anything about anything
biggest
on YouTube.
piece of crap series ever made. But they made a movie about it, and John Cena played his dad.
Well, you know what? Hollywood's they're cherry picking YouTube talent now to throw in movies because they figure
is
it's a
true.
built-in audience and
Sure.
social media stuff. Influencers. It's not the
Yep.
way to go, but they're doing it anyway. So
So
yeah,
what did Tim think about Poor Things?
I thought it was one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen.
Yep.
So you've seen it? Did you see it?
Yes. Puke, puke, puke.
Terrible.
Honest to God. I mean, now look, going into the Oscars, I figure, okay, it is a beautiful movie from production standpoint. You know,
Yeah.
production design wasn't shocked in the least. Costumes, I mean,
Yeah.
that sort of stuff worked for me. But this whole weird narrative, yeah, I love the whole Frankenstein's monster thing. I mean, look at behind me, all the, Universal monster stuff. I love that sort of stuff. But this was a very, very strange take on the Frankenstein's tale. And, it's one of these critic movies where I'm smarter than you and this is
Yep.
art. No, it's like, no, I'm just a dumbass movie reviewer and I don't get it. What is this stuff? I mean, and the way the Academy embraced it, I thought, oh my God. After seeing Lily Gladstone and Killers of the Flower Moon, I thought, oh, she's got it. She won the
Sure.
SAG award,
Yeah.
but they gave it to Emma Stone.
I know.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm
yeah.
glad you didn't like it because
Oh,
we watched it for
sorry.
an hour and Tom fell asleep three times.
3 times I fell asleep. It's so boring.
well, so
And
in a
finally, I
nutshell-
was like, I don't think this thing's ever going to change pace. Did it ever stop just
Well-
having Emma Stone being a hypersexual human being? Or
Not
did it never stop that?
really. I mean, she
Okay.
kind of takes ownership of it more. In a nutshell, what the movie is about is that an infant's brain is transferred into her head. She's dead. Okay, so she begins the movie like an infant, and her brain development
But
is
it was-
rapid.
It was
And
her
then she
own
becomes-
infants,
Yep.
Yeah,
Own
own it,
infant's
which
brain.
again was
which
very
is also very weird.
yeah,
Yes.
very strange. And then so her development is rapid, and then she gets into this period of sexual awakening where it's like constant, right? And that's pretty
Mhm.
much it throughout the in entirety of the movie. Although she becomes she takes more ownership of it and uses it in a way when she gets older
Oh,
or her
that's-
more developed.
Funny, because it sounds to me like the moral of the story is it's okay because she looks and acts mature for her age.
Oh God! I mean, again, it is just, and the guy that did the movie, his name is Yorgos Lanthimos, and he does the most bizarre movies. He did a movie a while ago called The Lobster. I don't know if you saw that with
Oh,
Colin
I remember
Farrell.
that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the guy is out there, and he did
Yeah.
another one called The Favorite, which was another
Horrendous.
hyper sexualized movie.
I talked about that yesterday. It was
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Yep.
so
Oh,
bad.
I remember The Lobster. Yeah.
Yeah, so this guy, he loves to push the boundaries, and it seems to me that Emma Stone is his go-to person. And they got another picture in the works. I will say this. I mean, I didn't think she was going to win because you get that first and second Oscar, you're going to wait decades before number 3. And does she really belong in the same sort of category as a Jodie Foster who won in that short period of time? It's been 30 years since she's won again. I don't think she is. I mean, yeah, La La Land, she's great, and yeah, whatever. And I'm not saying she's a bad actress. I think she's
Mhm.
good, but I just think this was way overhyped. Way overhyped.
Yep.
Now, just so you know what kind of movie it is, I don't know if the guy's dead or asleep or whatever, but in the first 20 minutes of the movie, something like that, she's walking along and there's a naked man lying on a bed. So I don't know if he's dead or not. I assume he probably is because
Yeah.
she reaches over and pulls his penis up and then snaps it back down like 5 times.
Yeah, he looks like he's a corpse, and because
It's like,
Willem
what?
Dafoe is the mad scientist who is experimenting with what do you call it? Reanimating
Right.
reanimating these people. And yeah, so yeah, I mean, and there are other things when she first comes into her awakening.
Yeah.
It's like, holy God.
Well, when she stabs the corpse in the eyes and laughs
Oh,
and everybody,
God.
I
Yeah,
was like,
Look
I'm
at Alex's
sorry?
face. Alex like, what?
she's an infant that grows up in a laboratory, if we want to go with the old Gothic,
Laboratory.
and so what does an infant do in those deals? Oh, there's a corpse, let's stab the eye. It's like, Jesus Christ. I mean, it is really, really bizarre. And again, maybe I'm in the vast minority when it comes to critics, but I'm going to tell you the way it is. And that movie is just one weird ass movie.
It
God
really is.
bless Tim Lammers.
I agree. Come on.
Hey.
Some people love it.
Some-
They
you
love it.
finally said it. It sucked.
Yeah. Well, and then at the same time, you got movies like American Fiction, which did win the best adapted
Great
screenplay
movie. Great
for
movie.
Cord Jefferson, and Cord Jefferson directed it as well. So that's big for that movie. I think
that
that
was a good
because it
movie.
all really does start with like the movie, the written word, and it's so important.
Right.
And so yeah, I was thrilled about that. I was thrilled because it is a brilliant movie.
It is.
I know Catherine has described Game of Thrones as too rapey for her.
It
That's
was.
what she
Doubt
said.
it. And
I was out.
That's what
And
she
it sounds
said.
like this Emma Stone movie is too semen-y for me.
Yes, it
Uh,
is.
It just, like I said, it's just
I know.
endless. I mean, it wasn't like, oh, here, yeah, we get it. It was just like, you're gonna get it many, many times.
It's like or like the smoking that's in the Maestro. I mean, it seems like they drive this stuff home maybe more than maybe that's
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that's what people want. It doesn't make sense to me.
What I don't get about Poor Things is that now Emma Stone is clearly in a phase of her career where she can have the no nudity clause, but it's like the polar opposite. I mean, she exposes herself, and it's like, why are you doing? You don't have to be doing this sort of stuff. This is going to be out there forever, and I would imagine at some point really embarrassing. I mean, it is just
Oh,
so,
the memes! I can't even imagine the memes.
Oh
that are
my
gonna be
God.
coming
I
out
mean,
of this
so
for her.
that didn't make sense to me. Now, on the flip side of that, you admire somebody that just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, right.
Just it's like, you know what, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. So I'm really conflicted about it. But at the same time, you look kind of like with Jennifer Lawrence doing the full frontal scene in No Hard Feelings. But again, part of me admires the fact that I don't care. She did it. So did you ever see No Hard Feelings with
Yeah.
her?
But I mean, that was like that was.
It was just really
appropriate.
brief too, and it was
Yeah.
really brief too.
Yeah.
It wasn't the entire movie like this. thing.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm not being a prude here or anything, but it's just like, God, why do people call this high art? I don't get it.
Well, it's like we've talked about this yesterday. It seems like every once in a while there's some movie that comes out and some actress is doing, all of what she did in this movie, and it's supposedly, a boon for feminism and how empowering it is and how great it is. And I was like, it would be different, but the fisheye lens where like the movie watcher is like a voyeur. And it didn't seem empowering to me. It seemed exploitive. At some point it goes over the line and turns into exploitive.
It's very clearly the director's fetish.
Yes.
Well, yeah, and then how does she, obviously she's taken by this guy, this director. She works with him. She's working with him again, like I said. The one that should have won the other night, honestly, Annette Bening.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's great.
how
yeah, she was
defeating
really
is
good.
that to be around as long as you have to really put in one incredible performance as Diana Nyad.
Yeah, she was.
And
She
and,
was.
and kind of go into it just that's the thing about these award ceremonies. There's rarely any surprises. So a lot of everybody behind Robert Downey Jr. is like, well, let's just throw back the drinks. We're not going to win anyway. But it must be a defeating feeling knowing, oh yeah, I'm one of the 5, but even though I've been doing this for 3 or 4 decades, I don't have a chance in hell of winning.
Right.
I think with the John Cena thing, with the Emma Stone thing, I think this is all the Oscars are turned into soft porn.
Yeah.
They've moved to Van Nuys. It's
You're not wrong.
kind of it really is. I mean, this is soft porn.
I wouldn't. I mean, the Cena thing was funny. But
he's nude.
Yeah,
He's
you know what?
He's nude. I mean, that's
it was all rooted in the whole streak. And now, to me, again, this is a good writer. because it was all rooted in something that happened 40 years ago when David Niven was giving out an award and a streaker ran
Well,
across.
I remember that. Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
And that's how they set up the bit. And again, that's good writing, and I really do credit them for that. But I get what you're saying as far as the direction they got to put out that salacious stuff to appeal to people. I guess I get that, Ralph, for sure.
I suppose. All right. Any way to wrap up the show? I can't. Man, that hour went by very quickly.
It did. Next week, during Tim and Ralph's time, we've got a guest that you're both familiar with, I believe, Diana Pierce.
Oh my God!
Oh,
Well,
nice.
of course,
Yeah, she's
that'll
gonna
be
come in next
fun.
Tuesday. She'll be in studio next week.
Oh, she's coming
Okay.
in studio. She's very nice.
She's a very
Is
nice
she
person.
talking? What's she going to talk about? Her photography or what?
A little bit about her photography, and what else did she say? Promote Upper Midwest Emmy Student Production Awards,
Oh, good.
which happen on April 5th.
Well, I worked
I'm
with
hoping
Diana.
she'll give us some big, deep dirt on Jeff Passolt.
I worked with Diana a number of years doing movie reviews on Kara
I thought
Levin.
you
So,
did.
Great.
I thought
yeah,
you
yeah.
did.
So
figured
I'm
next-
really good friends with
I'm
Diana.
glad she was available.
Haven't seen her in a long time, probably since the pandemic started. To be honest, we've talked or texted, but that'll be really fun. That'll be really cool.
Yeah.
If you didn't hear it this morning, Louis Nanny was on the morning show, and he and Judd all got together. It was a great interview.
Oh,
Judd-
Louis is always a great interview.
Louis does great interviews.
Yeah,
There's
he
no
does.
question about that. So you want to give that a listen. It was very, very good. But Diana Pierce has always been a very, very nice person.
She's terrific. She really is.
I remember one time she was on with Paul Majors many, many years ago, and she was kind of flustered over something. Apparently she didn't know what time it was, and it was time to go on the air, and she wasn't paying attention. And she hops on and says, "Hello, I'm Diana Piss." She mispronounced her own
Yeah.
name.
I think
I'm
she
sure
brought that
she'll
up to
be
me.
happy that you brought that
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Oh, I won't do it when she's on, but I thought it was hilarious.
He
Okay.
brought that up to me one time, I know, but look, it is what it is, you know.
It is what it
live
is.
television, you know, anything can happen. So
Well, Tim Pawlenty said hockey, you know what?
Yeah, he didn't
instead
say
of
puck. Let's drop the.
That was
Let's
hilarious.
drop that. It was not drop the puck.
And
He
he's
said
not like a
something
big sweary guy either.
No.
That's
Yeah.
what made it even funnier.
Well, I
one more
talked,
thing.
I
Go
talked
ahead.
to him about that once, and he was like, the entire time in my head, I was like, "Don't say the wrong word. Don't say the wrong word.
Yeah.
Don't say the wrong word. Don't say the wrong word." And then, of course, I opened my mouth, and
else. There was the wrong word.
One more thing. Kirk Cousins. Bye.
Goodbye.
Oh, really?
Works for me. I think he's very mediocre.
oh, he's
Well,
late on a jet plane.
I liked him, but I didn't $40 million a year like him.
No, I understand he's a
It's
very
out
nice
of
guy.
control, man. It is so out of control.
It really $100 million for doing nothing, basically. He's never achieved anything.
But
And,
I
the,
like
and the Falcons are paying him more.
Yeah, I know.
I like the justification. Well, they can only work for 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 years. I'm like, that's still who makes 40 million a year? Who makes 40 million in their lifetime? Not that many people.
Not many people.
Yeah.
It's true.
Just for entertainment.
Yep.
That is exactly it. All right, that is going to do it, folks. Timmy, I love these Tuesday shows. They work out very well. You and
Fantastic.
Ralphie coming in. It's wonderful.
Good to
That's
be.
great.
We'll
And
try
I
to get
will
you
be-
on camera next time.
Oh yeah, well, get my. But I guess my face is better for radio.
Oh, here we go.
It's weird.
I will talk with you on Friday morning, Tommy.
I'm looking forward to it. Thanks. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Got a picture in my noggin reminds me of this one was before. Every time I hear the same reminds me how you talking.